I'm Samuel Ogeyin. My farm is Samad Agro Nigeria Limited. I just came into it. Well, I've been into agriculture as a matter of fact, because I was in Kano, where I was running my private business. So when I retired now, came over here. And then in Kano, I was doing poultry. But when I came back, I noticed that the stress in poultry for my age won't carry me on. So I decided to try piggery, and it's been a wonderful journey, if I may say, because I noticed that piggery is less stressful if you are able to abide by the simple biosecurity. It doesn't give you much stress like poultry. So I think piggery is what is good for senior citizens like me. You don't need to stress yourself much. Once you give them some of the basic things like very clean water, you can see behind you there we have our borehole, which is very good, and we don't let people come into the farm anyhow. You know, we do all those things. The water, very clean water. We have our nipples so that the waters are not contaminated. The feed are well, give them very good quality feed. Once you have those basics, it may look expensive, but if you go by those basic things, you are good to go. It's very interesting. What I would normally tell senior colleagues like me is basically start small. You start small and then grow. Because whatever business you are going into, you know, one, it's capital intensive. Two, it's very, very important. You don't do whatever business you are doing, you don't do it by proxy. You have to make yourself available. You know, if you are not there, so many things may go wrong. You know, like now, you know, before you came in here, you people had to make sure, I made sure you disinfect your legs before you enter. But if you are not around, you will notice the attendants could let their friends and families to enter, especially seeing the size of what we have. They will just enter and they don't think something has gone wrong. But when it goes wrong, it's you that is the owner that will take the load. They don't care, you know. So that is it. So, and then you make sure also, once you observe all those things, make sure there are some basic medication which you must have, you know. And once you're able to do all those things, I think it's worth all the trouble. The journey has been worth the while. Because of over the years with my experience in management, all you need to do is tell them, you delegate. You know, like there are some of the attendants. Now, even before, I have a vet that comes around. It's on retainership. We have a vet. But there are times that when there's an emergency, you will not have to wait for the vet. So the attendant, I have one that, okay, say, okay, once if you have any sign of this before he comes, he knows how to even inject them, you know, so that they don't have any problem. Or like when I'm not around, your phone can do most of the work. They give you any complaint, but even if you are not coming, make sure you contact them and to know what is happening on the farm. I think that if I must be sincere with you, the government is not doing enough. And whether the money is going through the wrong channels, the people that actually need this money are not getting it. That is the truth of the matter. Because like, though my own, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise anyway. Because when I wanted to set it up, you know, funds will always be a challenge to anybody, irrespective of how much you have. You always, like Oliver Twist, you always want to do more. And that was why at the beginning of this interview, I told you that start small so that you don't get yourself into serious problem. You know, because that time they said the government were giving a loan. We rushed, went for their training. I can even show you the certificate. They say, no, they will give you, if you have the land, they will give you interest free. I said, this is interesting since we have the land. And that time I was just looking for money to dig my borehole. But lo and behold, I never got it. I never got any loan from the government. We hear they give so much loans. Some people collect billions and millions. We hear on newspaper and television too. But we've never seen, I have not seen. In fact, those of my other colleagues that have 1 or 2 farms, none have told me that they got any money from any bank. And you can't go to a commercial bank, you know, because of, you never can tell. But if you have a single digit loan, which is affordable, that will be fine. But we don't see, that is the truth of the matter. We don't see. But my joy is that they didn't give, and you know, man's we always keep on your once you put your thinking cap, there is nothing you cannot achieve, you know. So by and large, at least we are doing. I can't complain. We cannot complain at all. So, but if the government, like they told us, if that land had stood as a collateral, and then they give you the money and monitor the money, then at least they will see you grow. But now my joy now is that at least no government is going to ask me for part of my whatever we have achieved. But there are some people that may not be as lucky. May not be as lucky. So, but basically me, with the help of family and friends, we've been able to weather the storm. And now, you can see at my back, there's a second pen, and we have peace there. So at the rate we are growing now, I'm comfortable with it. And the revenue we're able to generate is enough, like whatever we want to expand, you know. So farm our corn here, farm other produce that the piece, you can see my cassava farm is at the back there. So we get all those things to supplement our feed. You know, feeding is very, very important. And you know what it costs in the open market. Only last year, because of the rain, we didn't get enough maize. But the cassava will supplement for the feed. If not, if the government want to subsidize, we can get those like maize in particular, which is a major raw material. If the government can say, okay, if you have farm, you can have access to a reasonable price, it will do us a lot of good. My advice basically will be do something. Do something. Very, very important. Because when I retired and moved from Kano to this place, I thought what I needed was just to rest. Since God has blessed me with have 1 or 2 properties that is generating income, at least food will not be a problem. So I said, let me rest. But I'll shock you, that 1 year I stayed, that I was not going to do anything, was the worst year, one of the worst years in my life. Tell me why. What happened? That 1 year I stayed at home, my BP shot up. Developed BP because of what? Idleness. And the worst thing you can do to yourself is to stay idle. But now, you see, with all the hassles, all the bustling and hassles inside town, it doesn't concern me. When I'm leaving the house, my wife will pack it. I have a lunch box. In fact, the children used to laugh. Your lunch box. So I have my lunch box. In fact, it's in the car now. So you carry your lunch box. There is water. So you just come here, discuss with chat with the animals and your workers under the tree. You get fresh air, not polluted. And once it's 3, 4 o'clock, I start heading back to my house. By the time I get home, I'm already fagged out. So what I need now is just take my bath and rest, you know. So that is why I said it's very, very important. You know, some people will say they have retired, they have some, maybe they have some money that will sustain them. But I tell you, the money may be there, but your health will be compromised. So it's always good, very, very important for you to be active. Like if we take a walk, if it was during the planting season, by the time I walk around this farm and come back, you are dead tired, you know. So come and walk around, just see nature, and then you are good to go.